Good afternoon. First, I'd like to thank everyone on staff, Public Works, Parks and Recreation Department, and Police Department and others for their outstanding planning and outstanding operation of the Taste of Orland this weekend. The residents, non-residents that came, the vendors that were there, and all of the bands had a phenomenal time. We're extremely happy. I've never seen so many people happy at an event in Orland Park. They're thrilled to be there. Congratulations to everyone who was there for operating in a safe manner. And again, thank you very much to staff for all your hard work. Today, I'd like to give everyone a brief update on what's happening with the numbers for COVID in the region. There aren't a lot of changes. So social mobility is currently at minus 19% on July 19th. We've talked about that before, and that tracks how much mobility there is via cell phone usage for all of the state of Illinois. My take is that Orland Park is probably a little bit higher than that, and probably more back to normal. But anyways, that gives you some idea to how people are moving around in and around Illinois. Probably most of this is now due to the fact that people are not coming in and out of Chicago anymore at all. Cases in Illinois have increased in the last few weeks, and it is at a faster rate than they have in suburban Cook County. So they are increasing. And you can see that relative on this slide, relative to when the various phases have opened up. Something to note is testing in Illinois has also increased dramatically in the last several months. I mean, it's almost 7 times what it was back in mid-April. And remember, way back when, I said the most important statistic for me are hospitalizations in the region, because cases can be manipulated by testing. Testing percentages can be manipulated by who you test. So the volume of testing can really change all those other numbers. But the one thing that doesn't change is who's actually sick enough to go to the hospital. So no matter what testing, even if you did none, we would know what was happening with COVID based on the hospitalizations. Positive case testing rates have just trickled up. You'll hear a lot about how they've gone up and they've gone up, but look at how much they've gone up. It's like 0.1% a day. It's not extremely fast, so they're still relatively steady. So I wouldn't read too much into this based on the different testing that's going on. The fact that we've opened more, so we expected it to go up a little bit. Cases have trended downward in suburban Cook County since April, but they have trended back up a little bit of late, like we've talked about, and then slightly back down again here recently. So not completely unexpected with how much more mobility and how many more things are open. Again, the most important statistic are the hospital admissions, because if you did no testing, this would still tell you what's actually happening on the ground with COVID, who's really sick from it. And you can see that it's trended down since its highs in late April. It's now down to a very small amount each day. And these are 7-day rolling average for suburban Cook County. So our hospital admissions continue to stay flat or slightly decreasing. And that's the biggest indicator that everything is still on track. COVID-related deaths in suburban Cook County have steadily trended down and are still trending downward. And that's a lagging indicator. It lags by a couple of weeks because people go to the hospital first before, obviously, they unfortunately pass away. So they're there a while. But you can see that is also still continuing to trend downward, which tells me we are still tracking in the right direction in spite of all of the openings that we've had. ICU bed and ventilator usage, we've talked about this for a long time. We have plenty of capacity, which was the whole goal of the shutdown to begin with, and we have tons of capacity, and the hospitals are in great shape. The state now has a metric page based on the new regions. This is in the last 30 days. This shows the positivity rates, and you can see everything's in the green. There's a slight uptick, as you've seen with test positivity in the last 10 days or so, but again, well below the 8% for the region. And this is for all of suburban Cook County, which is who we're lumped in with now. But typically, we're in Region 7 of the emergency response regions, which is Will County, which part of Orland Park is in as well. You can see that's also got a slight uptick, still less than 8%, still in the green. So the regions are still doing well. Our emergency response region has plenty of capacity, as you see, and this is what was shown as of yesterday. The state has also started sharing county-level metrics, which also indicate that Cook County can continue to move forward. You see that the new cases per 100,000 are 70 per 100,000. That's mostly driven by Chicago and some of the suburbs in the area, but not Orland Park for sure. So one of the things that I wanted to point out to everybody is how well Orland Park has done, in spite of the fact that we're a very active community and we have a higher than average vulnerable population based on the age of our population. We've done an outstanding job Our case rate per 100,000 population is 65% of what suburban Cook County is. And I know you hear a lot about cases. Keep in mind, those are by zip codes, so it also includes Orland Hills. It also includes a lot of unincorporated Orland Township. But even including all of that, you see the case rates per 100,000 population is far less than the Illinois case rate, even less still than suburban Cook County, which we've seen the suburban Cook County hospital admission rates, how far down they are, and even all of suburban Cook County still looks good. And then look at it relative to Chicago. It's half of what Chicago is. So we're doing extremely well. You've done a great job of following the rules, social distancing, and I think that's the most important thing. You've stayed home when you're sick. You've social distanced, you've washed your hands. Those are the most important things that you can do, and you've done a great job of it. This is evidenced by the numbers. Despite the raw numbers you may hear, this really tells a story about how well we're doing relative to everything else. That really is the update for this week. There's really not a lot new. It's relatively flat. It suggests we can continue to open. Orland Park is in our final phase of the reopening plan, which means we are fully open. I know a lot of the businesses still are not fully open because they're doing what makes their customers feel comfortable. And that's exactly what has to happen. It's the marketplace that will figure this out. If customers are comfortable, they will come in. If businesses go too far, customers won't come in. So continue to do what you're doing. Continue to go out and enjoy yourselves. Get outside. Very, very important. The more we've been outside, the better all of these numbers have gone. When everyone was locked inside, these numbers spiked up. When everybody started going outside, we saw much better rates and much improvement. So please get outside, enjoy yourself, get exercise. All that stuff is very, very important. And keep doing what you're doing. Please stay at home if you're sick. Please make sure that you're trying to stay away from big crowds of people. Just distance yourself a little bit. Wash your hands. And if you are immunocompromised, if you're a senior, please, please, please stay away from others and protect yourself. Thank you very much, and have a great day.